Good afternoon. We'll call the meeting to order. Today's meeting is being streamed live via the Township of Addington Highlands YouTube channel. To those present in the gallery today, by attending a public meeting of council, you are consenting to your image, voice, and comments being recorded. Anyone invited to speak will be recorded and their voice, image, and comments will form part of the live stream. The chair and/or clerk have the discretion and authority at any time to direct the termination or interruption of the live streaming. Such direction will only be given in exceptional circumstances where deemed relevant. Circumstances may include instances where the content of debate is considered misleading, defamatory, or potentially inappropriate to be published. Notice is hereby provided that under the authority of the Municipal Act 2001 and in accordance with the Ontario Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, that all information provided for or at a public meeting, consultation, or other public process are considered part of the public record. Members of council, staff, delegations, and attendees should be mindful of using names of individuals or entities when discussing matters in public. Attendees are advised that they may be subject to legal action if their actions result in inappropriate and/or unacceptable behavior and/or comments. As per the Township's procedure bylaw as amended, all votes during electronic meetings will be recorded votes. All of council is present in the council chambers. Thank you. So we'll have, first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. A motion to approve, moved by Councillor Yantch, seconded by Councillor Thompson. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson.
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yantch.
Yes.
And that motion is carried. Item 3, adoption of the minutes of the regular meeting, December 16th, 2025. Moved by Deputy Reeve Hooks, seconded by Councillor Thompson. Any errors or omissions? Call the vote. Councillor Thompson.
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yantch.
Yes.
And that motion is carried. Business arising from the minutes. Item 4.1, Ward 1 Councillor vacancy. Process for appointment. Christine, do you want to provide an overview?
Sure, thank you. So I put together a report for council's consideration, complete with a process and application form for council's consideration. So just to recap, at their last meeting on December the 16th, council made the following resolution: that they received for information the declaration of the vacant Ward 1 councillor seat report, and further that pursuant to Section 262 of the Municipal Act as amended, declares the seat for Councillor Ward 1 vacant effective December 16th, 2025. And further that the vacant Ward 1 councillor seat be filled by direct appointment through an open call for individuals for consideration by council through a public appointment process. So in an effort to ensure accountability and transparency during the appointment process, and in lieu of a formal policy outlining the process of a public appointment, the attached is proposed for council's consideration. The recommendation on the report is that the report be received and the process for appointment be received and approved either as written or as amended based on council's feedback. I would like to just bring to council's attention that this is a draft, and so we are able to amend it however council feels comfortable with. It talks about the application procedure, what will happen there, and then it also talks about what will happen at the appointment meeting. Included in this process is the application form, the public notice that was issued, and then the declaration of qualification that I would complete once that candidate has submitted their application. That's all I have unless council has any questions.
Deputy Reeve Hook. Go ahead.
Just a question on item number 18, where the candidates will be present and ready for questions. You'll probably have a deadline of questions from council that you'll want ahead of time. And I guess if I was sitting in a position as a candidate, I would like to see those questions beforehand so I could better prepare myself. I don't know how other people feel about that, but I could give a better response.
I can provide some insight into that. So the
Okay.
policy does talk about sequestering the candidates during the question and answer period. So the intention was that those questions would not be available to the public prior to the meeting, wouldn't be available to the public nor to the candidates. But again, if that's what council wishes, we can certainly make them available. To your point about a deadline for submission, absolutely. So we're going to have our meeting scheduled for February the 10th. So we would want to have those in advance of the agenda preparation for certain. But the intention of the policy, the way that it is written, is that those questions wouldn't be made public nor be circulated in advance.
Councillor Thompson?
Yeah, I think, it is an election for all intents and purposes. And so like when we have open houses, we aren't told what the questions are going to be. So, you're doing it on your feet. So I think it's probably just as fair to have it that way in this situation.
Any other comments? I guess on that issue that you brought up? Did you want to say anything further to that, Deputy Fook?
Well, again, if I was a candidate, I think I would like to know what kind of questions, and maybe not open to the public, but at least the candidates. Guess I would prefer that way so I could be better prepared, because otherwise it's just a total guess of what you're going to ask. So that's just my feeling.
Go ahead, Councillor
Yes,
Yance.
at first, when Councillor Hook brought this up just now, I thought, well, yeah, that's kind of a reasonable thing to ask. But then when I'm sitting here thinking, what kind of questions would we ask that they would really need to have that much time or a day or two to answer, or to figure out their answer. So I'd prefer just to have it at the day that we're on February the 10th, that they see those questions.
Thank you. Sort of my view on it is they do all candidates have an opportunity to provide a submission if they wish to which would describe likely would describe their interest in the position and why they feel they're qualified for it and what they want to contribute to it. I tend to agree with Councillor Thompson and Councillor Yance that the questions would not be made known in advance. I also have another comment though on the actual, it's on section 19 on the fact that it's an open vote. In a normal election, voting is done by ballot. It's done closed. No one knows how any individual in the community voted for them. And I believe here I'm a little concerned that if the successful candidate knows how each person voted for them, you could end up with someone with, I'll be honest, with hard feelings that may taint how they feel for that rest of the next 10 or 11 months. And then there may be a benefit in having that be a ballot process instead of an open vote. I don't know how the rest feel. Councillor Thompson?
Yeah, so as in a normal election, nobody knows who votes. You put your ballot in and that's what you do. And this is an election, and I think it should be the same way. You put your, I mean, it could cause animosity in the community. People say, well, you didn't do this, you didn't vote for me, or you voted for him, or whatever. And I think a private ballot would be most suitable.
Councillor Yance?
Yes, I certainly think it should be a closed ballot. We should be able to, the councillors, we should be able to vote in private, what candidates we prefer.
Any other comments? Deputy Fook?
Well, I thought originally when we first started talking about this, that we could even have like a scoring system, like we're gonna know what the say there's 5 questions and you have a little score sheet and then you just rank them. I mean, that's another way to do it. And we did that kind of with the head committee, I believe. A scoring system when we voted for the Community Builder Award. So that's another way of doing it. But I mean, this is maybe in this case, it wouldn't even be necessary. So I would support like the having them more private. Yeah.
I have a couple comments. Are there any other comments on this draft? I don't see any. Councillor Thompson?
So I would make a motion to approve this and with the amendments that we just stated, with the voting and the questions.
So
The questions would.
that wouldn't
remain-
change then?
So that part of it would remain the same. We wouldn't amend that. The questions would be as proposed in the draft. But you're suggesting that we approve it as amended 19A to include a secret ballot as opposed
Right.
to,
But the
Okay.
questions would not, they would not get the questions beforehand either.
that's correct.
Right,
And the
okay.
policy doesn't provide for
Right,
them to get them ahead of time?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yep.
Okay, so then there is the one change to close ballots. Okay. Are we clear on the motion that's made? Do you have a seconder for it? Councillor Yantch? We will, and you're okay, Christine? With that wording? We'll call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
Yes,
Deputy Reeve Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Yantch?
Yes,
And that motion's carried. Go ahead.
And if I can just add one more thing, so the notice that went out in the paper on the website and on Facebook indicated that packages would be available starting tomorrow at the municipal office from the clerk. Included in the package that we've prepared is obviously going to be the policy that council just approved. I've actually also included a summary of the 2025 budget for the candidates' information, a copy of the remuneration for councillors and head of council as well, the code of conduct for council and the council staff relationship policy, and the policy surrounding live streaming. So potential candidates will get that information to give them somewhat of a background as to what they might be getting themselves into. And that'll be available starting tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Thanks, Christine. Okay, we'll move on to number 5, disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. Unnoted, we have no delegations or petitions. Matters for consideration. Item 7.1 from Terry Woods and Pam Lemke, a request for a noise bylaw exemption. Deputy Cook?
Motion to approve the request?
And seconded by Councillor Yantch. Any comments? Questions? No, we'll call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
yes,
Deputy Reeve Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Yantch?
yes,
And that motion is carried. Item 7.2 from Terry Woods, a request to waive rental fees for the Flinton Rink and an exemption for the noise bylaw to host a community charity hockey game on February 28th.
I make a motion to receive and approve.
Moved by Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Yantch. Any comments? Call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
Yes,
Deputy Reeve Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Yantch?
Yes.
And that motion's carried. Mississippi Valley Conservation Authority draft 2026 budget. Councillor Yantch?
motion to approve, I guess. Is that how we do that?
I think we receive,
Or
refer to
we
budget.
receive it and refer it to budget? Okay.
Yes.
I shall move that.
Moved by Councillor Yantch, seconded by Councillor Thompson. Any other questions, comments? Don't. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
yes,
Deputy Reeve Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Yantch?
Yes,
That motion is carried.
my apologies if I can add one thing. In the email that we received the budget through, it was suggested that Sally McIntyre is available for council presentations should council have any questions on the budget. So as we get through the budgeting process, if council wishes to reach out, just let me know and I can arrange for that.
Thank you. So item 7.4 is a resolution from the Council of the Municipality of Huron Shores regarding a phased implementation of a major upgrade to Highway 17 and 11 as a nation building project. What's your wishes? Councillor Yanch,
Motion to receive and support.
motion to receive and support. Seconder, Deputy Reeve Hook. Any comments? No. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yanch.
Yes.
And that motion is carried. Item 7.5, a resolution from the Council of the Township of Nairn in Hyman. Essentially, looking for support of their resolution to urge the government of Ontario to introduce additional financial, regulatory, and policy-based supports to help our Ontario steel, forestry, and lumber sectors. Deputy Reeve Hook,
Motion to receive and support.
seconded by Councillor Yanch. Any comments? Call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yanch.
Yes.
That motion is carried. Item 7.6, a resolution from the Council of the City of Brantford seeks support for the resolution calling for reform to sentencing, parole, and registry provisions concerning violent sexual offenders. Councillor Yanch,
Motion to receive and support.
mover to receive and support. A seconder, Councillor Thompson. Any comments? None. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yanch.
Yes.
The motion is carried. And item 7.7, a resolution from the Council of the Township of Front of Young. It's essentially urging the Southeast Health Unit to identify and undertake a rigorous process to ensure that any future decisions regarding service delivery are transparent based on community needs and involve engagement of the community. Councillor Thompson,
Make a motion to receive and support.
moved by Councillor, seconded by Councillor Yanch. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yanch.
Yes.
That motion is carried. Item 8, matters for information. Motion to approve all matters. Councillor Thompson, seconded by Deputy Reeve Hook. Any items you want to bring out? Go ahead, Councillor Thompson.
On 8.4, it's good to see that this is all proceeding good. I just wish that there was some way that other carriers could get on with the Rogers. I mean, we have Rogers now all over Eastern Ontario, but nobody else is on there. So anybody is with some other carriers, kind of out of luck.
Yeah, we do hear some feedback in the community about that. And I think the timeline is fairly long. Like if Bell wanted to get on it, I think they mentioned it was 12 to 18 months or something. It's a bit of a process for them to, but they have to let them on. Yeah, yeah. I had one comment on 8.8, this Alto high-speed rail, the open houses. It lists on there some open houses near us. I did contact Joel Wee because I was curious what they were, the open houses, whether it consisted of a presentation or anything, and it doesn't. It is strictly an open house with displays, and you can go around and ask questions. So there's no specific itinerary to it for anyone who's interested in going. However, there's probably some interesting stuff there. Yeah. That's the only item. Okay. Any other things you want to talk about there on items for information? Looks like none noted. We have a mover and a seconder. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson.
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yantch.
Yes.
That motion's carried. Reports of committees and boards. Nothing. Community Control Group. Ahead Committee. Nothing. No personal finance. Nothing there. Properties and Recreation Facilities Committee. Draft terms of reference update. Did you have any comments on that, Christine? No. Or Councillor Yantch?
Yes, we've been working on this for a little bit of time, and I think we've got the draft what it should be. So I would like to have council approve this draft.
So you're moving that it be approved? Moved by Councillor Yantch, seconded by Deputy Hook. Yeah, it looks good and important to have a terms of reference. Any other comments? Councillor Thompson?
So, with David Twitty, like his role as managing, like he'll still hold that role? Right, okay. Okay, good, thank you.
Deputy Hook?
So this is an update from April 2025. Just wonder what the changes were to the older one. Was there anything significant that was updated, Helen? A lot, I guess, eh?
No.
I'm sorry, I think some of it was just probably some housekeeping items that were brought forward. At least that's what I remember from the last couple meetings. It was mostly that, nothing major or anything. We just tidying up the language. Yeah.
There were some facilities that were listed that didn't actually fit some of them shouldn't have been on the list. Some of them were related to the roads department. And we tried to really hone it down to the recreation facilities piece of it. So yeah, we did tidy up quite a bit of language and then had a good look at those facilities as well. And we had to address David Twitty's position too, because he's the one that oversees the management of them mostly now. So we had to really define that the committee is more of an advisory role.
Okay, thank you. So we have a mover and a seconder. Any other comments, questions? Call the vote. Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Hook?
Yes.
Councillor Yantch?
Yes.
That motion is carried. 995, no other meetings right now. The Waste Management, Waste Diversion Group, but I'm sure there'll be one in the near future. The item 9.6, the East Lennox LNA OPP Detachment Board, there is a meeting January 29th, which will be my first meeting at that board. Library Board, Joint Fire Committee, nothing. Reports of officers, section 10.11, roads and waste update. Brett.
Happy New Year, everybody. Back in the winter again, I guess. So that being said, the roads department, we've been busy over for the last little while here, trying to keep the roads passable for everyone over the holidays. We did have a significant weather event that was declared December 28th, and it was ended on December 30th. Things went well during the event, but there's always a possibility when you have a significant amount of weather that there could be issues. So things went well and we were able to keep up as well as we would hope. We're continuing to do regular maintenance and repairs on our vehicles. As you all probably know, if you're not running equipment, it doesn't break, but when you do run it, it does break. So with the amount we've been on the road, there's been some equipment breakdowns and we've got things fixed up pretty good. So I will add that I was in touch with our truck supplier again yesterday. They do have all the parts for it now to put on the truck, so we're getting closer to having our additional plow truck come into service. So they figure it's a month type of thing for to install all the equipment, and then it has to have a PDI and such. So we'll see how things play out, but we'll have it for next year anyways, if nothing else. As far as the waste department, they're busy over the holidays, and now we've started to accept the additional items as detailed by Circular Materials Ontario. So our wayside attendants are also handing out some information pamphlets, I guess is the best way to put it, about the new recycling guidelines. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the wayside attendants about what stuff goes where, because there is some minor changes and some stuff that doesn't necessarily make sense to everybody that's receiving the information. So have any questions, feel free to ask the attendants, and they'll be glad to help you out. Mterra has started moving some bins into our waste site locations in advance of their takeover of the recycling hauling. We now have 14 bins at Caladar, and there's going to be some more moving in to the other waste sites this week. So that we're prepared, probably going to be around the 1st of February sometime when Mterra starts doing their own hauling and using their own bins. So yeah, so until that happens, we'll continue to use our big bins and haul the waste or haul the recycling to Waste Management in Napanee. I think that's about it for this report.
So you have any questions for Brett? Deputy Fook, go ahead.
I was at the Caladar Waste site on, I think it was the weekend, and where you mentioned there's been some changes on recycling. I've forgotten that the Tetra Paks are no longer in with the cans in plastic, and I got corrected by Glenn Kerwin, and he gave me a sheet of paper with so it was well done, explained it, and yeah, so anyways, that goes in with paper now, so that's great. So
Yeah, there's some of the stuff that's just a little bit trying to figure it out. Yeah, it's been done. There was some back and forth with CMO on how they wanted stuff separated. So Kayla and Tanya worked back and forth with them quite a bit to get things listed properly on those sheets. So it's a good document. If we hope to send it out with our tax bills in the spring again, so that everybody gets a copy they can throw up on their fridge or whatever, or put out next to the recycling bin, and use it for reference in the future. So
I thought the document answered every question you could possibly ask about what you could put in the recycling. So I think there's going to be quite a bit more recycled. Hopefully.
I know I still catch myself wanting to throw something in the garbage, and then that's recycling now. Your snack wrappers, for example, granola bar is going to be recycled. So so stuff like that, it's not going in a landfill, so it's all to our benefit, right? So as long as it's clean, we're all good. So
I have
Go ahead,
one more
Councillor Gordon.
question, if I may. I was reading that with all this winter weather we're having, that there's a salt shortage in the province of Ontario. They're working the Goderich salt mine 7 days a week now to keep up with the municipalities because the larger centers are running out of salt. There's just not enough. I'm just wondering, we're okay on salt?
yeah, we haven't had any issues getting salt as of yet. That doesn't mean that there won't be issues I know in the past, and when salt shortages at the docks get low, right, they start to have a longer haul, so they have to haul directly from Goderich to the site. So I don't have a lot of information on it at this point, but we haven't had any issues to this point about it, so.
The article I read is that Goderich is concentrating on serving the municipalities first, and then the private contractors, some of them have been asked to source it out from Quebec. So I guess at least we're on the front row anyways.
Yeah, yeah, that's, between us and MTO, we'd be the biggest, takers of salt, right? So, so that would be their main priorities, I would think, so.
Thank you. Any other questions for Brett? No. Well, could I have a motion to receive Brett's report? Moved by Councillor Yench, second by Councillor Thompson. We'll call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes,
Councillor Yench.
Yes,
And that motion's carried. Thank you, Brett. And now you're on to item 10.1.2, Bridge Street culvert update.
Yeah, so I guess, I don't know whether you want me to read the report or whether you wanna just comment on it. I'm open to either way.
Maybe the highlights of it, Brett, just sort
Okay.
of kind of where we're at for the
Yeah,
anyone
so-
who's listening in the public.
Okay, so the last meeting of council, it was obviously decided that I should work on some tender documents for the culvert replacement on Bridge Street and purchase a culvert depending on the cost. I received some pricing on a concrete box culvert and a couple of multi-plate culverts. Once I received the concrete box culvert, I had a couple of questions for the supplier, about delivery. When I reached back to them, everybody was on holidays because it's that time of year. So I didn't complete the purchase of any of the culvert options at this point. During the period between December 16th and January 2nd, I gathered some similar tender documents from neighboring municipalities and counties to try and piece together something for our culvert installation. Once I got into it, I realized that these documents, they're all prepared by engineers and they had a lot of details that we didn't have. I reached out to our engineers and had a discussion to see what options that we have that could work to get the job done to meet the March 15th installation date. There were no quick options, and I was worried about risk to the township should I put out a request for tender without all the necessary details for the bidding parties. Working for a contractor previously, I guess, if if you don't have enough details when you're bidding a job, right, you tend to either overinflate your price or you hope for extras afterwards, right? And you price it cheap and then say, I'm gonna go after them in the extras to get the money that I need for the work. So so it's a lot of risk if you don't have all those details. So I got thinking again about some conversations that were had previously with council and with some other individuals, and I reached out to a rental company about and came up with a bit of a solution to try and get us the best overall product and get local traffic being able to travel through Bridge Street. So I was thinking that we could rent or purchase some road plates to cross the culvert location on Bridge Street. We restrict traffic to a single lane and not allow anything larger than a passenger vehicle to cross the plate. This would mean purchasing some signs and renting or purchasing the plate, a single 8-foot plate by 20 foot and it's 1 inch deep, would be about $600 a month. We then reach out to a consultant and negotiate the work that we wanted them to complete to get the tender documents done and the installation. And then we would have the proper documents to provide to somebody for a tender. The work would probably be done in late summer or the fall of 2026, but traffic would be able to still flow through the area at that time. This proposal gives us, I feel it gives us a good option to do the work correctly, minimize the risk to the municipality, and allows traffic to use the road, local traffic that's a passenger vehicle size. It also gives us some options if we decided that there's some magical funding that comes out, that might help us out. We could apply for it, right? And see whether there's anything that could help us with the installation costs of the culvert. So that's what I was thinking. I wanted to, I guess to be honest with you, I had a knot in my stomach all over the holidays about this tender, and it kind of keyed me that I hate to put the township at risk over something like this. If we don't get something done properly and have all the necessary documentation, that I would hate to see money spent on a bad solution, I guess is the best way to put it. So I'm open to any questions you guys have, or any other proposals that you guys have. So
Thanks, Brett. I'll turn it over to other members of council in just a second. I do have a question just on the plates. Opening that to, because obviously from the start, that's been a desire in the community, is if we could, to have that open, because it keeps that kind of lifeline of traffic going through the village, and certainly helps local business in the area, and for anyone else that's just sort of traveling through there. So the really the question I have around it is, this would be physically configured so that a large truck, even if it was not loaded and disobeyed directions, they physically wouldn't be able to go through it. Can you configure it that way?
that would be the best option. We do our best to do that. I'm not going to say that somebody's not going to try. So these plates they're made for heavy enough traffic that they may be able to handle it. I don't think there would be a risk there, honestly. But if somebody decides they're gonna try, you still got to have room for a vehicle to get through, right? So it's hard to restrict it too much, for passenger vehicle, unless you're going to put some kind of overhead restriction that they're going to take the top off their truck when they go through, or we would do our best to keep that restricted, so that only passenger vehicles would be able to use it. So
Yeah, so that, I mean, there may be ideas out there that how this is done by other companies, construction companies typically, who are using plates like that all the time to support traffic over some areas that aren't so strong. So this would be with the ambulance, is your idea that the ambulance would be able to cross it, but perhaps not the fire truck?
yeah, the fire truck, if it was a water truck, it might be a little bit heavy for that plate. I mean, yeah, I would suggest that we wouldn't want to let the fire truck go across it, because it'd be similar to if you have it full of water, then you're going through there. That's quite a weight. So
Okay, I had a mental list of questions. I have one third one on that cover, and then I'll turn it over to council. So the actual timeline, if council approved it, what is your best estimate for when that would be open?
to open to traffic,
Yeah,
you
yes,
mean?
yes, the one lane.
The one lane. I think the plates are fairly commonly available. So they said, we could probably get them in a week or two, type of thing. We obviously have to get them placed and get the signs and such. So I would think we could have it open probably What were the, probably, I'm probably saying a 2.5 weeks type of
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Is that fair? I
Yeah.
don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, so.
Just trying to look for,
Yeah,
I guess, a best estimate, so.
and we get it done as
Well,
soon as we could, so.
okay, thank you. So other members of council? Councilor Yance.
Just getting back to the weight and the width of this plate, would that hold, say, a truck and a trailer, you know, that you may be wanting to go to Algonquin Park and you want to come through the village of Flint, or, I'm sorry, Denbigh, and stop and get some goodies, and would it hold that? That's, because that's kind of the traffic you also want, right? Or tourists that might be coming through.
Yeah, are you talking about an RV type of trailer type of thing? I would think it would support that weight easy enough. It's going to be a matter because you're going to have to keep it fairly tight, right? So if somebody's coming through there, it's depend on how comfortable they are driving the trailer through, and it's like driving down the 401 when they have the narrow lanes and you got traffic coming both sides. Yeah, it can be a little nerve wracking for you if you're going at any high rate of speed. One thing about this spot is it's a low rate of speed. We Yeah, there might be some, we're gonna have to have some kind of traffic control devices there that are only gonna allow one lane of traffic going at once, obviously, so that will affect things as well, so, yeah.
Other questions? Deputy Reeve Hook?
I think it was the last council meeting, we kind of talked about seeing if there was some ways the township could do some of this work. So is it still the intent that when you talk to the engineer and we get all the tender documents, there may be parts in there that the township could do to save costs? Or are we now kind of looking back and putting it all on a contractor and at high cost? I think we're all concerned about saving some costs. We have men, we have equipment. There might be some parts of it we could do to save cost. Is that true?
And there may be, but every job that we take on it means a job that there's another job that's not getting done as well, right? As far as the installation, I'm gonna say probably we wouldn't do any of that ourselves. We would leave that up to the contractor because they're gonna have to install some kind of dewatering. There'll be, I'm gonna presume there's gonna be a crane involved for the installation of a culvert, whether it's a concrete or a multi-plate. Yeah, it would be very limited what the township would actually do ourselves type of things.
Any other questions? I, I have another one, Brett. Has there been any recent update from Hydro One regarding the culvert planted in the middle of the existing culvert?
Yes, I guess I'm not sure when I last gave you any information on that, but they are looking, I asked them to put a longer post in or a longer pole for the hydro so we could have a little bit more room to work underneath the hydro lines when they're there. It's going to be shifted as well. So they're supposed to be getting me a quote for the difference in what it would cost to do that. And I have not received that as of yet, but I do have to reach out to them again, so I'll do that. So
Thank you, Brett. Deputy Reeve Hook, go ahead.
I have one last question. This might be silly. I was just trying to visualize, so we have a hole there, right? There's a puncture in the culvert. So we're going to put a plate over that or near that. And do we need guardrails on that plate? Or what would happen if somebody kind of accidentally went off the side of the plate? Would that be a concern?
So what our plan would be is we would put the plates on the opposite side of where the hole is, so that over a more secure area. I would probably put 2 plates down, honestly, to make sure you had lots of width for a truck to get through, because 8 feet is not a lot. So you probably put down 2 plates. We would take the concrete barrier that we have, and we would restrict that area so that you could only go into that area. You wouldn't have that option to go over the area that where the hole is currently. So
Okay, any other questions? I mean, the intent here in the bigger scheme of things is to try to get the right product and keep the price as low as possible. So obviously with a clear scope of work for a contractor and some competitive bidding is probably the best we could do in the township in terms of trying to keep the cost down for the ratepayers. So. And obviously we'd be following all our procurement processes, which would be good. Any other comments? No comments. So I guess we'd be looking for a motion to receive Brett's report and approve. Well, there's multiple items in there. One is the temporary crossing, and the other one is to proceed with essentially it would be the design and installation contract. Is that correct, Brett?
yeah, I would like to reach out to the engineer and get a downsized, maybe, because we do have some of the work done already for that the engineer wouldn't have to do now. So we get some revised pricing, so it'd be lower than what lower than what the previous costs were, I presume. So
So you'd be bringing that back to council?
I can
Sure.
do that. Should council wish me to do that.
Do you have
So-
any recommendations, Christine, here on process?
No. Not particularly. I think, sorry, I was trying to write down what your proposed resolution. Multitasking, not my strong suit today. I think it's prudent that Brett reached back out to the engineering consultant, as he mentioned, to get, we need to clearly define the scope of what we want done. And in the process of doing that, to try to narrow down the work that we're looking for in the hopes that we're going to be able to find some cost savings, to your point, Councillor Hook. And I think once we reach back out to the engineer and get sort of an idea from them, then report back to council on what their findings were. That answer your question?
Yeah, so that resolution would probably be a little bit different. Go ahead, Councillor Thompson.
So like my concern before was when we're going with the engineer, and I don't have a problem going with engineers, is once again, these archaeological studies and soil samples and all this stuff that I don't think is necessary to put a culvert in, like, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to give you a hard time, I'm just saying, you know, like what we're looking at. So, you know, there's also a way of doing it. You can, I forget, it's, I think it's called on bid, I forget, but you give a contract to a contractor to do that, and they worry about it. We don't worry about it. Like, they have to do it all, and then it's guaranteed for 7 years. They have to guarantee it for 7 years. It's a project it's done a lot in construction, but I mean, I'm not saying to do that, but maybe it's something we could look at, but I'm just more concerned about the engineers driving the prices up, like we were at $1 million. So I'm just, you know, more concerned of getting it down to $500,000 or something like that. So
Christine?
And to your point, Councillor Thompson, about the archaeological studies and what was listed in that original proposal, that's the type of thing that we want to work with them and have those discussions to see what is absolutely necessary for this project. And we have discussed this for probably in aggregate, probably 10 hours worth of discussion as to ways in which we can make this go forward. But at the end of the day, even by using a bidding platform that you're speaking of, we still need to inform that process about what we're exactly looking for. And that's the challenge that we came across, is that unless we are clear and concise of what exactly we need for the project, we could run into cost overspends when, you know, we don't define it well enough. And then at the end, they say, oh, well, yes, we bid this, but you didn't include this, this, and this, what we had to do. So that's going to be an extra X amount of dollars. That's the challenge that we came
I
across.
understand that, but.
But to your point, the conversation with the engineering consulting firm is going to be about what we need, not about what we should. Not should, because I don't want to say we're cutting corners, because we're not. We have an obligation to public safety, but we also have an obligation to spend public funds responsibly. And that's what will sort of formulate that conversation with them.
As I understand, I haven't heard anything different. We're fortunate in the respect that Ministry of Environment doesn't seem to be involved, or we don't have all these outside agencies wanting to get in here to drive the cost up even more. So, it's just my idea is just try to keep it down as much as we can, which I understand you're trying to do. Like, I mean, I'm not saying you're not. I understand you're doing what you can do, and that's all. So just thank you.
I think the Department of Fisheries, I get it wrong every time, DFO. I believe those are the only ones that so far we're having to work with in this process, and we're well underway with that application process. So that part's not holding us up, but yeah.
Yes, and there's some things that are elective. I believe the archaeological study, which I mentioned, we've had discussion probably outside meetings, that existing culvert installation is a complete new installation in the early 60s or mid 60s. So you're unlikely to, that type of study is, you're not going to unearth something there because it's all new fill. So.
One thing that I will add about, because the archaeological study keeps coming up repeatedly, if council recalls, we use OSIF funds for a lot of our surface treatment projects. And anytime we have funding from the provincial government or any level of government, obviously, we have to report on how we use those funds. And one of the questions every year in the annual report, did you do the appropriate archaeological studies? So even though we are confident that it is not necessary, we might not be driving that bus, right? We might not be the ones that determine whether or not it's necessary. I'm not saying we're not going to have the conversation. We absolutely are, to try to do just what we need to do. But at the end of the day, it might not be our decision. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you, Christine. Yes, we need to sort the resolution out because it's not quite clear yet. So one item obviously is to approve the temporary crossing, and I think the second part is to approve staff proceeding with, I was gonna say, working with an engineering firm to clearly define the scope of work. Maybe that's probably all encompassing. Then the scope would include all the studies, the scope, or any that are required. The scope would then include the exact, what is the actual work going to consist of, a spec for it. Is that
I was going to
Councillor
say,
Yance?
maybe we could use the word necessary all. Instead of just sort of a blanket kind of leaves it, but if we just say
Yep.
necessary.
Okay? We'll give Christine a minute. You okay?
Did you want me to read it
Sure.
back? Oh, shoot. Okay.
On the spot.
So basically that it be resolved that the report prepared by the manager of roads and waste regarding the Bridge Street culvert update be approved. And further, that the temporary crossing installation be approved. And further, that staff be requested to work with our engineering consultant to clearly define the scope of the necessary work related to replacing the culvert. Does that sound okay?
Everyone okay with that? Okay, we did have a mover, but we didn't write it down. Did you move it initially? I think you did. Okay, so who wants to, there's, need a mover, Councillor Yance. Seconded by Deputy Reeve Hook. Any other comments? No. Call a vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yance.
Yes.
And that motion is carried. And thank you very much, Brett, for the work you've done and bringing a report back to council. Okay, we'll move on to, I think from the facilities manager, anything CO clerk treasurer? No. Fire chief, no. Reports of appointees?
Meeting in February.
Thank you.
We met yesterday, the Mississippi Valley Conservation Authority. Good meeting.
Great, thank you. Any resolutions? Approval of the accounts as of December 31st, 2025. Someone move the approval. Deputy Reeve Hook, seconded by Councillor Yance. Any items you want to bring out? Councillor Thompson.
I probably should know this, but I don't. So on the first page there, 32046, under Casey's, it's cancer screening supplies. I didn't kind of, what is that?
So this is actually a series of blood draws that are done for every, I hope I get this right. Every volunteer firefighter has the opportunity to get their blood drawn. And I believe it provides them with not only a baseline, but any screening for cancer that they may have been exposed to during the course of their firefighting duties.
Oh, okay.
And it's being done for both Caladarberry Fire Department and the Denbigh Fire Department. Both items included in the 2025 budgets.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
So that begs the question, who gets the money for that? Like, where's the charge coming from? Like the $10,000, is that for medical, like a Dynacare or something like that?
It's a laboratory that does it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the lab was located in the United States. They would not take a Canadian dollar check because normally the township would just issue that check directly. Council would see the company's name on our list of accounts to approve. We couldn't do that, so Casey had to personally pay for those items on his own. So this is reimbursing him for those purchases.
So this is a requirement by the fire college or fire marshal or?
I don't know if it was necessarily a requirement, but it was one of those items that was included in his budget for this year.
And there's no Canadian lab that can do it? It just
I asked that
seems a
same
little
question
bizarre.
and I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. I'm sure we'll bring it up to Joint Fire Board.
Any other questions? Okay, so we didn't have a mover in us. Oh, we did, yes. Memory short. Call the vote, Councillor Thompson.
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes.
Councillor Yance.
Yes.
And that motion is carried. Member statements. Deputy Reeve Hook, go ahead.
More of a question. Of course, the last issue of the Frontenac News was all about the closure of the health unit and the extension till September. I'm just wondering now, am I right by hearing that the Reeve and the mayor of North Frontenac were forming a committee with the clerk, two clerks? Is that correct? And to see if there was a solution, I just wonder over the holidays, has there been any discussion over that?
No, we are meeting the two CAOs and the Mayor Reeve. We are meeting near the end of 29th of January.
Okay, and that would be with Red and Lois as well?
No,
Just the four?
yes,
Okay.
yes. And not that, because there's really two issues, right? One is the food bank home and the other one is the actual health unit facility office being established in Addington Highlands. So yeah, in the food bank, the search is sort of ongoing even right now for a home, obviously. Red and Lois are looking for a home and we're in touch with them, so we're keeping appraised of what they're doing right now. So, yeah. So, yeah, that may not come up and there may be some, I think I will be consulting, I think, I will for sure with other members of council prior to that meeting, just through email or some
Okay, thank you.
input, yeah. Any other member statements? New business? None. Bylaws, 16.1, bylaw 1005/2026, to close and stop up lands, and sell designated lands. I will not read all the details of that, but
I give
Three
that 3
readings.
readings.
moved by Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Yantch. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes,
Councillor Yantch.
Yes,
That motion's carried. 16.2, bylaw 1006/2026 is a bylaw to adopt job descriptions for newly created positions of temporary deputy treasurer and temporary administrative assistant. Three readings. Deputy Reeve Hook, Councillor Yantch. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook,
yes,
Councillor Yantch.
yes,
And that motion is carried. 16.3 is a bylaw 1007/2026 to authorize the execution of Ontario transfer payment agreements. By three readings by Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Yantch. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson,
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook,
yes.
Councillor Yantch.
yes.
And that motion is carried. No closed meeting. Confirming bylaw, three readings. Councillor Yantch, Councillor Thompson. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson.
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
Yes,
Councillor Yantch.
Yes,
That motion's carried. And a motion to adjourn. Councillor Thompson, Councillor Yantch. Call the vote. Councillor Thompson.
Yes.
Deputy Reeve Hook.
yes.
Councillor Yantch.
yes.
And that motion's carried. Thank you, everyone, and this meeting is adjourned.